And spawning in the top right hand corner of Amygdala, we have our StarCraft 2 Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Gunner. Land of Ukraine, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Brood War Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is Dewalt. Now, there was a surprising amount of cheese and all-ins in that last series. I'm a little bit concerned that's going to continue here. I'll be honest. We are leading into Amygdala, and Amygdala is one of the larger maps in the tournament map pool. Actually, might be the largest. I don't know if we include maps like Abyssal Reef here, for example, but regardless, larger map. Because of that, longer and later games can be favored here, but at the same time, because of certain mechanics from Protoss, especially IC2 Protoss, having the ability to warp in at proxy locations, we can still commit to something more aggressive. We'll see, as Dewalt does move out across the map. Also, of course, exciting times. We do have a new ladder map pool as of yesterday, which I would imagine also means that our tournaments here are going to be updating their map pools as well, incorporating some of those new ladder maps. Looking forward to it. Whether it's with our regular tournaments or even events like StarCraft Evolution League as well. Always exciting times whenever we get a fresh set of new maps to add, to incorporate. And I guess the most interesting thing to me is going to be which maps get added to StarCraft Evolution. For regular tournaments, I mean, we're probably all just going to swap on over completely and get a fresh new map pool with the ladder map pool, I should say, just go alongside it. But with StarCraft Evolution, it's a little bit different because they only pick and choose a handful of SE2 maps to bring on over. Not everything. Just because they have, of course, their portrait Brood War map. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a discussion had, a process to be had when it comes to which maps will be added and which maps will be incorporated. I'm sure Among Us will be one of them. Este Hyper 1. Effective immediately. Magnatha, Pylon, Amygdala, Frost. Oh, no. Oh, no. The Hyper 1 influence. Magnatha? Oof. Okay. Fair enough. Very Among Us. Meanwhile, Proxy Robo. So Gunner going for the one base all in does open up a 2-gate into the Proxy Robo across the map. Meanwhile, back at home, Dewalt going for his own 2-gate opener into Expand. Dewalt, he did scout across the map. He did confirm the second pylon is missing. He knows. He knows what pylon is missing. He checks, he scouts, and he will confirm. He will find this. So far, nice scouting here by Dewalt. He does see this ahead of time. Second pylon on the way just to make sure everything stays powered. And we'll see how Dewalt will respond to this. Now, I'm curious how the defense is going to be here for Dewalt, just because when it comes to defensive robo play, it is weaker here for Brood War Protoss. But of course, Dragoons do make up for that, so Mass Dragoon may just be the answer. We have a third pylon on the way. Make sure everything stays powered. At this point, it's like, okay, you can have all your pylons. Let me just kill the building. Oh, no. The building's under fire. We have Stalkers coming in to reinforce, but alas, is this too late? The Robo, it's gonna go down. It's gonna be close. Can he get it? It's gonna be so close to Immortal. It is gonna spawn in, but the Robo will still fall, and that means that there's only one Immortal. Yeah, one Immortal to work with. Robo goes down. From here, Dewalt, he backs off. He does preserve his Dragoons. One Dragoon does fall, but he has a shield battery. Oh no! We'll lose the second Dragoon. Second Dragoon does go down. But last now he only has to worry about one Immortal. And Gunner forced to expand. Ay. Forced to expand, forced to transition out of this. I mean, he can still find some damage. Going for the pylon. Pylon's under fire. Boys are being pulled. And so far, Dewalt, he holds the line. Dewalt's bearing in mind that he does have the faster base. He has better saturation, better production for probes. So the pressure's on Gunner to get some damage done. Backup pylon is done. Backup shield battery as well. And Dewalt, he is holding. Behind this, making 2 Dragoons at a time. Third gateway is on the way for Master Dragoon. Once again, getting a bit of hull damage or a bit of shield damage, I should say, to the Immortal. Oh my god! Takes down the first sentry. Sentry for Dragoon. Oh, going for the Immortal. Getting a little bit greedy. Shield is triggered. With that, Gunner, he does maintain himself, does keep that Immortal alive. Back at home, going for his own defensive Robo, getting to his own second Immortal. Still warping in on the front lines though. Jeez. Slow warpins, but warpins nonetheless. As Dragoon range is done, kiting back. We have the Citadel on the way. Interesting. I mean, I'm so used to seeing in PvP going into Robo, going into Reaver production. That's not the case here. Going for Zealot legs. Okay. I say Zealot legs. Technically, this also gives you access to the Temple Archives. So we can tick up further from here. So no Reavers, no Robo. More Dragoons building up. Pushing forward. Does have the high ground. Gunner, alas, he has to commit here to save these pylons and also to buy time to maintain map control, to keep Dewalt busy. There it is. Temple Archives is on the way. From here, we can go into Dark Templar. True. But upon seeing the second Immortal, now he knows that the Robo was rebuilt. He's aware. Nice snipe. Takes down Stalker. War Prism has arrived. So we hit a reinforce. We're up to how many Dragoons? 11. So 11 Dragoons. There's 2 Immortals though. Nice force fields. Catching out 1, catching out 3. Oh my god. 3 Dragoons go down. Very nice control here by Gunner. We spoke about the Dark Templar. Dark Templar's on the way. But alas, DTs, they shouldn't just end the game. Gunner, he has access to detection, checking his vision and checking his units. He does not have the Observer, but he has the potential to make Observers. With that Robo. Once again, very nice force. So it's catching out another 2. And Dewalt, he's being picked apart. Bleeding out so many Dragoons. There's so much riding on these Dark Templar. I mean, they can be used defensively to force his army back to give himself more breathing room. Or does he notice? Oh! Does he notice that shimmer? Forge on the way. DT going to be used defensively. Yeah, going to be used defensively. Forcing back Gunner. Immediately Observers on the way. Should be done in time. But Gunner, he's going to be forced back. Dewalt, he breaks out, going for all these pylons. This will supply block Gunner though. Oh my god. Yeah, 3 pylons go down. Meanwhile, the first DT gets across the map. There is detection though. But he can't warp in. No, he has to recall. Yeah, he cannot defensively warp in. He's supply blocked. Ay, ay, ay. Oh no. No damage done yet though. Recall is forced. DT does go down. But Dewalt, he can breathe. He can breathe freely. Now moving out. Zealot legs are done. Getting to those speed lots. The donors picked it. Este Hyper one. Meanwhile, DT into the natural, not bad. Slipping in, getting a handful of probes at the same time, and base does fall. Denies the third. Was a cancel. Cancel on the third base. DT still wreaking havoc, getting another 3 probes. And the game will continue despite the hyper-aggressive start, despite the proxy Robo. We're now getting to 3 bases. So we have a third base on the way here for Gunner. We have a third base on the way for Dewalt. Looks like Gunner setting up for an all-in though, going into Glaive Adepts. Glaive Adepts do not scale amazingly into a longer game, but they do a great job here at buffering and tanking for the Immortals. They're an alternate kind of way. Instead, typically in a standard game, you get into charge, then into Archon production, then into a longer game state. Here at Glaive Adepts, they have a lot of mobility, and again, it's going to be that much more committed. So going massive Immortal, mass Glaive Adept. Again, this has been very trendy as of late, at least in SC2 PvP. As DTs, they do slip in. They get a scout, so they at least see more Adepts warping in, and that is a bit of a tell. That is a tell that Glaive should be on the way. So their role here should be to deal with the Zealots and to, of course, tank Dragoon shots for the rest of the army, for the Immortals. And we're getting up to, what, 6 immortals. That's a lot of immortals. Storm as a response. This will be interesting, considering that Storm does hit different here from the side of Brood War. Storm is a rare sight in SE2 PvP, but I feel like it may have its place here for Brood War Protoss instead. Especially against all those adepts. We'll see how hard it hits. We have how many so far? 4. 4 High Templar. Still gathering energy. For some more in an Archon. So down to 2 High Templar. I believe there's 1 Storm. Yeah, currently 1 Storm. Ooh, Archon gets caught. And the Archon does go down instantly. And once again, nice force field zoning back the army. And Dewalt just cannot break through. Show us that Storm. Storm in the back line. Grazed the army, but nothing major. Yeah, that was the only Storm. And with that Gunner, he's done it. He breaks through that defensive line. Catching out most of the Dragoons. Forcing his way in. And Dewalt has nothing left. I mean, yeah, GG gets called. Nothing left here. Gunner, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Impressive. Gunner does take a lead. Again, like Gunner, he is a little bit of a lower ranked player compared to Dewalt, but does fight back, does put a point on the board, and does start off with a win. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very aggressive and assertive start, but of course we did switch gears, getting to a longer macro game. We saw how difficult it was for Dewalt's army to actually deal with not just the massive mortal, but the force fields. I feel like the force fields were the MVPs there for Gunner. Time and time again, we saw him catch out and just pick that army apart, getting 2, 3, 4 stalkers at a time, and there was just no answer there for Dewalt. Unfortunately, that's most likely where the Archons come into play. That would have been the answer to break those force fields. But remember, the first Archon was sniped before the fight really began. So there was no way for him to deal with those force fields, to try to deal with that aspect of the fight, and GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be getting into Frostline as game number 2, and we'll see where this leads us. I want to see Geralt versus Dewalt. Oh no, not like this. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left corner. Oh, switching races on us. Okay, we have the Ukrainian, usually Protoss, but the Ukrainian now Brood Wars. Oh, top league. God damn it. The Brood War Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes going for the 12 pool. It is a Gunner. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover as he's going for the low ground setup. Oh my god. I mean, sorry, my brain was still PvP loaded. I was like, he's crazy. Even Max Max doesn't do that. Standard opener. It is Dewalt. I'll be honest, I just woke up. So I was like, low ground in PvP is crazy. But it's like, no. ZVP. Going for the 12 pool, going for that hatch block as well. So Gunner, he does move out. Pool is almost done. Drone is rocking up, and he will be able to hatch block. I'm curious if he goes for the wall here, and it looks like he will, disrupting the wall of Dewalt. So the hatchery is on the way. Lings are moving out. Oh, Dewalt responding with a forge, so a strong response here from our Protoss player with the forge. Essentially, in this early game scenario here, because your production is so limited, it's so difficult to keep up with your opponent supply-wise. We're making 1 zealot at a time for the time being. We have another gateway in the way. That is where the forge comes in. That's where the forge kicks in with cannons as a response. Again, supply is very limited here for Dewalt, so cannons are a good way to shut this down. We can see that Gunner, he is expanding behind this. Dewalt does confirm with it, or he will soon confirm with his probe. Cannons are on the way. Does wall. Probe has yet to confirm. And Zealot's, oh no! It does get surrounded. Lings are coming for the surround. That should not have happened. Zealot goes down already. And Dewalt, he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble here. Now going for the shield battery. That does mean the second Zealot is going to spawn in. Oh no. But alas, the wall was not a wall. The Zealot, it was too thin. He had to be thicker, Patty. Oh no. As another hatchery gets thrown down once again to just reduce surface area, make things more awkward. Once again moving in. Morling spot forward, and that's gonna be game. That's gonna be game. The final Zealot's gonna go down. The boys are not being pulled, and Dewalt is being everyone. GG gets called, and just like that, Gunner with the upset takes down Dewalt 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Gunner, he does claim the series, teasing the hell out of Dewalt. To be fair, game 1, we did force a longer macro game. You know, we had 2 base saturation, getting up to 3 base saturation, but did start with proxy robo, of course. Here, 12 pool, just going for the 12 pool, going for the proxy hatch across the map. Unfortunately, the moment that first Zealot got surrounded, that was game. That was game then and there. That should not have happened. We also had even another probe there just to make sure that there was some support for the Zealot, but once it went down, I mean, what else can you do? He was waiting for the cannon, waiting for the second Zealot to spawn in. You could argue that maybe he needed to, or he could have technically pulled extra probes down to the low ground, but again, that initial surround just shouldn't have happened to buy more time to allow for that reaction to occur. Regardless, GG, well played. Aye. And with that, Gunner does advance on.